Hello. I am reporting live to you from my parents' basement. Yes, indeed. But no, I'm in St. Louis. I made it. I got here yesterday at early evening, like 7 o'clock. We kicked it. We hung out. We did some stuff. Caught up. Everything's all good. But we here, and you probably wondering why I got on a hoodie. It's really cold in this basement. You know what I'm saying? It's like 90 plus degrees outside. Shit, what is it right now? Let me go ahead and check the temp because y'all know that's what I do. It's about 89 degrees right now. I'm gonna be going for a run not too much longer after this. Yeah, it's gonna be like 90 or so. But we've arrived. We made it. And I'm looking forward to everything. You said the pudding's coming home to roost, indeed, yes. But no, I'm looking forward to everything. Over the next couple weeks, I'm gonna be setting up like an office and stuff. So like I'm not gonna be presenting it. I'm not gonna be presenting it like this every day. I'm gonna set up like I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it yet, but I just got here a few hours ago, really. So I'll figure that out. But I want to get like some type of a nice desk set up and get my little two screens going on so that we can be all good. Distracted Gardener, what's going on? And you got the Olympics on, and you working on two other monitors. See, that's it. I need to. I got to get like y'all. You know what I'm saying? We got Alonzo. We got brother Mike Boy in the building. But yes, you said I'm mirrored today. Oh, you talking about back there? Oh yeah, I got the drinks, I got the mirrors and everything like that. Um, Morehouse. This is the school my dad went to. Well, one of them. This is where he did his undergrad, uh, Morehouse College. But yeah, it's just a little chilly down here. But I'm sure by now y'all have seen most of Trump's whatever the hell that was at the National Association of Black Journalists in Chicago. I mean, look, guys, like the, it was bad even for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like it was his Q&A session with those black journalists was bad even for him. And like it's really been amazing to watch over the last week and a half plus how quickly, and I mean obviously the race isn't over, uh Kamala's campaign, they got to keep on doing their thing. But I mean, Donald Trump's campaign is like totally in free fall because it really seems like for whatever reason they thought Joe Biden was going to be the guy. He wasn't going to go anywhere. And now that he's gone, I mean, like it's like every single day they do everything they can to hurt their chances. We'll look over these clips and stuff like that. And obviously, I think the most important thing is for us to focus on getting through this election and then pushing Kamala in the right direction. Also, let's make sure we don't take our eyes off of the down ballot elections because that's really going to be massively important in order for Kamala to do anything while she's in there. Yes, exactly. He's Abraham Lincoln. Exactly. He said that too. He was like, I've done more for black people. I don't know. He said something like that. He was like, basically, he said he's Abraham Lincoln. No one's done more for black people than me, but Abraham Lincoln. It's just like it's man, it's really just amazing to watch. And that's why I titled the stream, Is Donald Trump Trying to Lose? Because it's like Alonzo, I'm not genuinely offended by that. I mean, I've gone through plenty of that my whole life, and I'm a lot lighter skinned than she is. Um, I'm not personally offended. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Like what the heck? And one of the clips we're gonna watch too, like even Republican surrogates are like, we should be talking about Kamala's policies right now. Discussing if she's black or not is ridiculous. These people are in their 50s and 60s. These people are incredibly grown. She's half black, she's fucking black. Like it's not and even if you want to say, oh well, she's not fully black, keep it to yourself. Nobody cares. So it's just like I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Clearly they're not thinking. But let's go ahead and get down to it. Cause he posted, hold on, cause look, actually, we about to look at this right now. He fucking posted this shit. Like, what are you doing? What is this? This shit says, hold on, let me pull it up on my screen so I can see it. Thank you, Kamala, for the nice picture you sent from many years ago. Your warmth, friendship, and love of your Indian heritage are very much appreciated. Like, bro, what is this supposed to be about? Like, how is this gonna, for the people that he needs to win? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what happened. That's literally it. That's literally it. He took the light skin, dark skin beef, and he personalized it. And he was gonna make it work. Doctor Who gives a f. What's going on? How you doing? Thank you for being here. But it's just like, I mean, like, what the hell is this shit? Like, you all are literally handing this election to this woman. She has to do the bare minimum, literally the bare minimum, to win at this rate. I mean, because it doesn't look like Trump or Republicans are going to stop this BS. They're not going to stop. They haven't stopped yet. Why should we assume that they're going to pull back and change? And again, I'm not. We're sitting here. We're not talking about. Oh, I just got a just got a good little message on my phone. Things are going well. I've only been here for a few hours, but I'm already feeling a lot better. But again, like, we're not sitting here talking about like, oh, this is so offensive. I mean, because again, like, my feelings aren't personally hurt. It's just like, what are y'all doing? What the fuck are you doing? How is this going to help you get black votes, Indian votes? How is this helping you court women votes? How is this helping you get the independents and the swing states voters that you need? Right now, Donald Trump should be talking about what he's going to do. That's what he should be talking about. But instead, he's saying, "Oh, Kamala Harris, what he was like, I've always known her as an Indian person." This shit is just ridiculous. Like, what the fuck is this? Um, and then like here, like we're looking like this isn't like a good news for any progressive policies or anything like that. But now Kamala's having all these big venture capitalists and all these people switch over to her, like all the money's going to her. And again, this isn't small dollar donations, so this isn't anything to be excited about, but still, it's like all of the allies that the Trump needs to win, they're going over to Kamala Harris. See, you even had Joe Rogan talking about, I think she's gonna win. Because again, it's like y'all are handing this to her. You're literally handing this to her. We got, again, Mark Cuban, Reid Hoffman, Vinod Khosla, and nearly 500 venture capitalists back Kamala Harris. And again, now, corporate Democrats typically get this type of support. So, like, again, this isn't surprising. This isn't new, but this is what Trump needs. This is what he needs to win, and they're all going over to him. I mean, all going over to her camp. And the more that they focus on like, oh, she's not really black or whatever the fuck, she's a woman DEI, the more they're making this not really about Kamala. The more they're making this about the moment and the cultural representation, everything that's been highlighted with the reversal of Roe v. Wade, these increasingly extremist stances. Women shouldn't leave marriages even if it's an abusive marriage for the sake of the kids, even though we know it's much better for kids to grow up in a separated house that's peaceful rather than in a home where mom and dad are always beating the shit out of each other and cursing each other out. The more they do this, the more that's what this election is about. It's not about Kamala. It's not about her policies. It's not about what she will or won't do at all. But this is just some of the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. And here, I'm sure y'all have seen this. And then this is, I didn't stream. I haven't streamed any other day this week just because I've been moving and getting that stuff out of the way. But I'm gonna be streaming a lot more than I have been. I'm gonna be doing this 5 or 6 days a week. Now that I'm here, so I'm gonna be a lot more active. Or here's another example. Right after the disastrous interview, and I'm sure y'all saw, Trump's team took him off the stage. They got him off the stage because it was so bad. Then you go to the rally and you're doing this. Alina Hop.
Well, I have had the privilege, as you all know, of representing the greatest president in the history of the United States. And now I am so honored to join the campaign to represent the 47th President of the United States. As many of you know, I have been fighting right next to the President in the greatest fight for the American Constitution.
You lost him a lot of money, though. He paid you $3 million, and then you went on to lose the cases because she was over the corruption trial in New York, the civil case. But again, she's about to go into Kamala's identity, and it's like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing?
For the American policies and to keep politics out of our courtrooms.
How hilarious is that? Keep politics out of our courtrooms, but not the not the federal courts and the Supreme Court. That's kind of the biggest court that there is. There's not really a court body that's more powerful than the Supreme Court. That's kind of where the buck stops. So I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Now we are dealing with a Democrat Party that literally can't figure out who the hell they're going.
It looks like Kamala's probably definitely going to choose Josh Shapiro, especially since she's having the rally in Philadelphia. There's a chance she doesn't, but I think it's probably pretty clear that that's who she's going to go with. And my guess for why is so they can win Pennsylvania and whatever other states that they need to clinch up. But it's looking like she's probably going to go with Josh Shapiro. But we'll see. We're going to find out.
Going to put up against my guy, President Trump. So who do they pick? Kamala.
Again, what are you doing? What is this? What the fuck is this? Kamala. Like, it's not. Again, we're not sitting there talking about our feelings being hurt. We're not boo-hooing. It's like you people are steamrolling ahead into a loss. You're gonna fucking lose. How are you gonna win if you keep doing this? It's not gonna happen. Like y'all was about to beat Joe Biden. Y'all was about to do that. That was about to happen because the enthusiasm was down. People were just feeling like, there's not much of a difference, even though there's all the, like the rhetoric of the threat to democracy and all of that. But people just weren't feeling it. Now people are totally energized, and we're seeing how much more important for the good or for the bad energy and rhetoric is in politics than abstract facts. Abstract facts don't necessarily move people or energize people because, again, you could hold up Biden and Trump next to each other, and clearly Trump is a worse choice, but you don't necessarily feel that. You might know that, but you don't necessarily feel it in your heart and your soul. But with Kamala, again, Kamala's not. A few months ago, people weren't rabidly excited about her, and still people aren't per se. It's about, let's get Trump out of the way, let's move forward. And they're just making this more and more and more about that. We're not even talking about Kamala. We're not even talking about her policies. We're not talking about what she wants to do. We're talking about, she's not black, even though her father is Jamaican. And at the end of it's juvenile. It's immature. And pretending like you don't hurt Kamala. Like this election was always going to be razor thin, and now y'all are making it not as razor thin. You're making it more and more of a guarantee that Kamala's going to fucking beat y'all. Like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah, boo. But I'm so excited because when I spoke at the RNC, I didn't know she was the one we were going after, but now I do. And I'm going to speak to you, Miss Harris.
Kamala's not even going to reply to her.
I am a strong woman, a mom, a lawyer, and an American.
Kamala's all of those things too. She didn't have biological children, but she has stepchildren. But I get, that doesn't count in MAGA Republican land,
And unlike you, Kamala, I know who my roots are. I from.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Unlike you, I know where I come from and I know my roots. How does Kamala not know this? And again, at the end of the day, why are we talking about this at all? Why are we talking about this at all? And even again, even Republican surrogates are going out and saying, like, guys, let's stop talking about this bullshit because it's stupid. So and they're like, what are you talking about? She doesn't know her roots. This is a young woman compared to it's just stupid. This shit is dumb. This shit is and how many I also don't have children. How many men don't have children? This whole thing is just like, huh? So I don't have a stake in the future because I don't yet have kids. I'd like kids. It's just like, and again, at the end of the day, none of this has anything to do with policy or direction. They're destroying themselves. They're destroying themselves.
And I don't play around with the Constitution.
What?
And I've got some news for you. They have tried to take down President Trump. And like I've been saying for 3 years, you can keep trying, but you will not succeed.
This is, and when I was watching this shit, my ad blocker's on. Nah, my bad. I was about to open up another tab, and then again, I was literally like, my mouth was open watching it. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? What is he doing? Just in case y'all haven't seen all of it, we're gonna go over a couple of these clips. But again, even for him, it was like, what? All right, let's check out some of these gems from yesterday in case you hadn't seen it. I was at the airport watching this shit like, what? Okay, here we go.
Your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals.
My question is, why in the hell did Donald Trump's team let him do this? I don't know why the hell they even let him show up to this shit.
From Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that
It's disgraceful that you're asking me a tough question. And you know what? What an indictment. What an indictment on just the media apparatus. Donald Trump should always look like this because this is how he responds when you hold him to task. Like normally when he goes on, the commentators and the pundits, they don't really want to on right-wing networks, they don't really want to ask him tough questions because he'll storm off and he'll leave. They want access to him. But when you actually ask him questions, this is what he does. This is what he does. So what an indictment on how terrible our media really is. Like what, huh? It was so. Why did you ask me that question in such a rude way?
What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed
But sir, my
that
question
city?
is on
What's
those.
going to happen to
My
the
question
people
is
that
on
tried
those
to bring
rioters who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Would
ask,
you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent,
those-
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very
And this is such like this was so mild compared to the other stuff, and then obviously the DEI stuff he was talking about, and then oh, here we go.
Then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it.
Right,
for me.
exactly. And then like multiple times, right, Mug, multiple times throughout the thing, he was like, "Hey, well, you made me wait 35 minutes. You're the one who made me wait." Well, it was just, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
If you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a Black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So, I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and
All he had to say here was no. That's all he had to say. All he had to say was, "Nah, I'm really not down with all this rhetoric. I think that clearly Kamala Harris is an intelligent woman who worked hard to get where she is." Clearly, that's all he had to say. That is all he had to say. But no, he can't do that.
she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a Black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
Black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you
And
believe
I
that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, what is this?
Mr. President,
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public.
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested-
how do you intend to...
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam.
And again, why? What is this? John Allen, what's going on, brother? How you doing? I just saw that you was in here. We got Nat in here. Again, right, exactly, Mike boy. This is just like this shit. This was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Like what is even happening right now? And then he keeps talking about she failed her bar exam. Well, eventually she passed it. What, did people just not look at her resume all these years? Like she just tricked everybody. No one checked it out. She was the attorney general. I don't think you can do that if you don't pass a bar exam. And not to mention, I don't know what the stats are, but my guess is people probably frequently fail the bar exam and then eventually pass it. I failed my permit test, I think, twice. Like people fail tests and then they take them again. So like what kind of a point is this to even make? What are you talking about? She failed her bar exam and then she passed it. Mara, what's going on? And speaking of bar exams, it's like, again, we're not like this whole thing. We shouldn't be talking about any of this, but we are because they're talking about it. The irony of it, Republicans always saying that liberals and left wingers are obsessed with identity politics. Like, nah, bro, we wouldn't be talking about any of this right now. But look at what you're doing. Like, what is this?
Didn't pass.
A 50% pass rate. See, and that makes, I mean, shit, like that would make sense to me. My guess would be people probably frequently take it 2, 3, or even 4 times before they pass it. Like, What kind of a point is this?
Pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President, are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
She won't pass. She can man, woman, TV, camera. She can't do that.
And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You've said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact.
That's not entirely true, and it's definitely not true right now, especially for you. I mean, like, Sarah Palin definitely was not helpful to for John McCain. But the difference between Sarah Palin and JD Vance is like Sarah Palin was just kind of dumb. Like she's kind of a dumb person. She's not that bright. She's silly. She's really goofy. But JD Vance is like a douchebag, a weirdo, like they've been calling him. So you have what was it? It was you said you went to law school with Mary. You said who failed the bar exam 6 times and now she's a partner at a law firm. Exactly. Like how that's not even an insult. It's not even insulting. It's kind of complimentary. Like, oh, she failed and she tried again and then she succeeded. She stuck with it. Like, if anything, you're just showing that she has a little bit of tenacity. Because again, we're not talking about any of her potential issues right now because of Republicans. Y'all are making this shit so easy. And again, because at the end of the day, the important thing is policy. The most important thing is that okay, okay, Kamala, we'll get you in the office, but then we gonna hold your feet to the fire. We gonna make sure that you do the right thing as best that we can. That's what we're supposed to do. But right now, we're not talking about any of this shit. We're talking about this. And JD Vance, he went from like I think he had it was like -7 in terms of his favorability, and then like 7 days later, now it's at -15 or some shit like that. Um, he talking about Sonia Massey. They talking about Sonia Massey right now, who was brutally executed by an evil person, and everybody knows it. And this is what he had to say.
Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You said police would get immunity.
Or who Teehee Kamala laughs. Oh, so what? Like, who can this is incredible. This is amazing. Like, this country's about to elect its first woman president, largely because of this bullshit.
For prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something.
What?
It didn't look good to me. It didn't look good.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something. You didn't see this? He probably didn't, honestly, because he doesn't care.
To me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again, why would...
They're going to be charging the officer. I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking.
Like, this is one of the most sensitive issues in the entire country right now. And he's you talking about the one with the water? Or, I don't know. Maybe they'll get immunity. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Who cares? I'm not sure.
It is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts. And this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 50
Oh, we got the Queen Fritza herself in the building. Yes, the first broadcast from St. Louis. Many more to come. We gonna kick it into high gear. I'm gonna set up an office. I'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks. And I'm quite jealous of the kids for going to an aquarium today because that sounds like an incredibly fun time. So yeah, that's awesome.
52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically.
Yeah.
How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment.
What? What?
But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but
He's just rambling because he doesn't have an answer.
we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you
George
extensively, sir. I'd
Slappadopoulos.
love to move over on to
I
different
didn't
topics
notice you
now.
do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one.
What case did he win? Is he talking about the case Aileen threw out that might be brought back up? Is that what he's talking about?
Where I
Sir, if
have
you
a
don't mind, I'd
hostile
love
judge.
to. We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different
No,
topics.
excuse
if
you.
we
You're the
can.
one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to
Like, what? What? What is this?
people did not think
You
very
have to
directly.
Okay, we basically get it, and I already know that y'all have probably already seen all of this multiple times because it was really that bad. It really was that bad. Like, and then here, let's move on. Let's move on to how another example of how the Republican apparatus can't help itself. Yes, he's done, Trent. He's done. He's done. This shit is over. Like, how is he going to win doing this? He's not. He's not. He didn't get it. He got no bump from almost being killed. He got barely any bump at all from the RNC. If you don't get bumps from that, what's going to happen that's going to give him a bump in the next couple of months? What's going to happen? What's he going to say? This shit? What's he going to do? This shit? Like, you see, like it's just like, and normally you have to think about, well, they could come out with this strategy. They might come up with an attack line here. They might focus on this policy. But as far as it's looking like, they're not going to do it. And even if some of them do, this is what the rest of the whole apparatus is doing right here, right? I saw this too. That why would a man ever vote for a woman? Like, what are you people doing? What are you people doing? Oh, you're handing the election to Kamala. That's what you're doing. Like, what are you thinking?
Now, I don't see why any man would vote Democrat. It's not the party of virtue, security. It's not the party of strength. It's definitely not the party of family. And to be a man and then vote for a woman.
Jesse Waters he's so dumb. I couldn't. I don't know how Jessica Tarlob does it other than she obviously is getting paid very handsomely. Because other than that, I couldn't do it. He's so stupid.
Just because she's a woman?
No.
Is either childish, that person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what the science says.
Science
Yes,
says
that's what
that.
What? I don't like what is I don't even have words for this shit. I don't know. I don't see why a man would vote Democrat. It's not the party of men. It's not the party of manly men. Yeah, okay. All right. But I guess it's alpha to stab a woman's tires, like cuz that's what he did. He did that to his wife when he first met her. He's like, "Oh, I think she's cute. I'm interested. I know. Let me stab her tires. That'll do it." Um I mean, this is just unbelievable. And we already looked at the photo that Trump posted. Thank you, Kamala, for this old picture of you with your Indian side of the family. Okay. All right, man. And then here we go. We got Harris Faulkner. And even she gasped. She gasped several times at Donald Trump yesterday. But like, hold up. She said Harris Faulkner praises Trump for walking into racial storm, the National Association of Black Journalists, and blasts the co-moderator for not showing humanity. I haven't watched this, but I don't, I get I mean, this is her job. She works for Fox News. She has to do this, but it's just like, what you were gasping too.
All right, and Harris Faulkner joins us right now, I believe, in
And again, it's like, what is Donald Trump, a 12-year-old little boy? Is that what he is?
Chicago. Harris, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning. Yes, I'm still here. And, I'm watching that back. And those moments yesterday, the audio and technical problems that we were having per the NABJ and ABC News were really, really frustrating. And I'm watching that back and I'm seeing that we were able to, at some points, the former president and I have a conversation. So much of what America is focused on today and so much of what that started with all that emotion and the gotcha moments from the interviewer who was seated directly to his left.
Oh God, Harris. Oh gee. Oh my God. You have no black friends, Harris. Harris Faulkner does not have a single black friend in the world. I mean, like, what you sitting there shitting on all these black journalists to defend Donald Trump? Are you serious? You see, no, she doesn't have any black friends.
Has really overtaken the fact that we had an opportunity to talk with a president who walked into a racial storm yesterday. There were journalists, activists, whatever you want to call people, who let their politics show, who wanted the NABJ to rescind its offer to have the 45th president of the United States come and sit. They had also invited Joe Biden, and he had said yes, but he's not on the ticket anymore. They've also invited Kamala Harris. Finally, yesterday, after some reported back and forth about her schedule, so on and so forth, she'll do something via satellite. And I know she's attending Representative Sheila Jackson Lee's funeral today, but NABJ is several days. It's 5 days, Wednesday through Sunday. So that has been worked out. But all of that I say because there were protesters who were forecast to come, and then the internal stuff that was going on.
Right.
He walks out on stage and not a greeting to acknowledge it's been 18 days at that point.
Again, is Donald Trump 12 years old? Is he a child? Is that what this is? Is he the prince of the empire?
Since you survived an assassination attempt. We're going to ask you tough questions, but Mr. President, welcome, and we're glad you're still here.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't take much to show humanity, and in that moment, I was so disappointed that didn't happen.
Harris Faulkner has no black friends. They didn't show him humanity? What the hell are you talking about?
Couldn't control it, but it got things off to an emotional start. And you and I both know that once that happens and you're interviewing someone, there is an agenda. And I'm glad you guys played a clip of that, because America and the journalists in the room, who, by the way, sat and listened
and laughed at him.
Some were laughing along with the president. Little joke.
You mean laughing at the president? She's embarrassing. This is pathetic. I mean, it's Fox News, but this really is pathetic, because you were on that stage. You were on that stage, and now you're just shitting on all of them.
Jokes and quips he was making. There were some critical in the audience too, but it was expressed respectively, or respectfully rather. There was a way to have taken some of the energy out of that moment, though, with that reporter. And what I would say to anyone who's going to be discussing race, while the left is playing the race card mightily, take the air out of the balloon a little bit and let things cool down by saying, look, I'm willing to discuss anything with you. But
yeah, but that's not what he did. What are you talking about?
if you show me disrespect, if we can't have mutual respect, then it's up to you if you want me to get up and leave.
Yeah.
That was really a pathetic segment that we just watched. I huh? Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, right, exactly. No one was laughing with him. They were laughing at him because it was but yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. You just threw that entire black conference under the bus for your job. I guess you got to get it how you live. You got to make ends meet. You got bills to pay. You got vacations to take. You know what I'm saying? You got a life to live. Brian Kilmeade dings JD Vance's cat lady cleanup effort. When you are explaining, you're probably losing. All right.
Let me get your thoughts on this because J.D. Vance is now out there, the running mate to former President Donald Trump, and he's trying to set the record straight, Steve, calling out the left's lies over these resurfaced comments. This is Sunday night in America. Listen here.
I do think that being a parent actually has a profound.
And look, I'll say this too. It wasn't just the 3 years ago comment. JD Vance makes comments like this all the time. There's a lot of clips of him that have resurfaced. And even if it was 3 years ago, JD Vance was 36 years old. 3 years ago, JD Vance wasn't 21, he wasn't 22, he wasn't 17. That's not what we're talking about. 3 years ago, JD Vance was older than I am now. I'm 32. I'm at an age now where there's just not that many excuses for I'm just young and stupid. I'm not young and naive anymore. I'm 32. I'm still a young man, but I'm not young enough to be like, oh well, I just didn't know. Like, bruh, you were 36 when you said this shit. And then all these other clips that were surfacing, you were older than that. And now you're 39 and like, oh, I don't have anything against cats or dogs. In fact, I have a dog at home and I love him. Like, bro, you're just this is internet brain. This is online brain. This is terminally online brain. Except he's, a public official, so it's consequential.
Profound effect on somebody's perspective, and we should honor and respect that. But there are a whole host of people who don't have children for a whole host of reasons, and they certainly are great people who can participate fully in the life of this country. And that's not what I said, Trey. If you look at what the left has done, they have radically taken this out of context and, in fact, aggressively lied about what I've said.
And again, that's the other thing too, is it's like the out of context. Like, bro, you're in your late 30s. The fuck are you talking about? You were taken out of context. You're not a kid. You're an adult. You're very much an adult. And you're a public official. So people are going to hold what comes out of your mouth more accountable than pretty much anyone else because it's more consequential because you make decisions that impact our daily lives. Oh, the left is just blowing it out of proportion. No, you're just a fucking loser.
What I do think is true, Trey, and this goes to the heart of what I was talking about 3 years ago in those comments, but it's going to be something I continue to talk about, is that the left has increasingly become explicitly anti-child and anti-family.
What are you talking about? The left has become explicitly anti-child and anti-family. That's why Republicans do nothing whatsoever to support families, to support single mothers, to support kids in general. You Republicans, fuck your kids' school lunches because children don't need nutrition. Fuck your kids and fuck your family. Every which way you look, that's what they do. Anti-family. Like it's always really just blown my mind that when conservatives pretend like only conservatives care about family. But cause and effect when people have sex often babies get made. That tends to happen. You know, it's not an uncommon occurrence. It doesn't really matter what your political stance is. If you're sexually active and you're not wearing condoms, eventually you probably gonna get somebody pregnant. You probably gonna get pregnant. You know, I've gotten people pregnant 3 times. So you know, I could very well have children right now, but I don't. So, you know, that's just an example of what the fuck are you talking about? People have kids when they have sex. That's what happens. Form follows function.
They've encouraged young families not to have children at all because of concerns over climate change. They've suggested that people who do have children are somehow being selfish, when I think being a parent is actually the most selfless thing that you can do, and again, really does transform your perspective. So this is not a criticism, and was never a criticism, Trey, of everybody without children.
Then why did you say it on camera? Why did you say it on camera? You know, if you ignore the words that I said, if you ignore what came out of my mouth, you can imagine I said something else that I didn't say. Nah, bruh. No.
That is a lie of the left. It is a criticism of the increasingly anti-parent and anti-child attitude of the left.
I think that he was on a podcast where he was asked about AOC's statement that she said in the past that, you know, I don't know about having kids with climate change in the world in turbulence.
What a stupid way to insult someone, too. You know, it's like, do you really want to go there, JD Vance? Do you really want to take it there? Because if you want to be petty, we can be way more petty with your funny looking baby faced ass. You know, because otherwise, you know, things like that wouldn't matter. But you're like, oh, you don't have children, so I'm better than you. Like, okay, you're a frumpy grown ass baby child looking motherfucker. You act like your wife is the only person you've ever had sex with in your life, which isn't inherently bad, but that's what you act like. You act like you really ain't got that much pussy before. You act like a whole lot of shit that otherwise wouldn't matter if you weren't attacking people for not having kids. You know, like you're a goofball, you're a weirdo. You see, I mean, it's so easy to talk about him, his round bowling ball ass shaped head, big face. You know, do we have to take it there? No, but maybe we do. It's like, dude, shut up. Who the fuck? Who do you think you are? Who are you supposed to be?
Turbulence, and that was his response to it. But it was brought up by Trey Gowdy that about this story with he met 2 nuns, greatest Americans who love America. Right. What about George Washington? Never had any kids. Does that make him a bad American? And he went ahead and said, no, there's people that try to have kids or don't want to have kids and are great Americans. So he wanted to explain himself. The question is, when you're explaining, you're usually losing. And that's all they want is him to sit there the whole time and explain the comments. He does a lot of interviews, a lot of podcasts, did a lot of publicity for a hillbilly.
JD Vance strikes me as somebody who wanted to be a player, but he settled for having a wife. That's the type of dude seemed like, you know, I wanted to have a bunch of girls, but I just stuck with this one. And the reason I'm saying that is because he has all these weird ass right-wing opinions, these alpha male-esque opinions that, you know, supposed alpha male. But it's just like it still boils down to like sexual insecurity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I have a wife and I have children. Like, okay, like, so what, man? Like, what is he's just fucking strange. And that's why they're weird. That's why these weirdo attacks are working so well, because they're weird. These people are weird as fuck.
The elegy for the movie and for the book. So they're going to be pulling up all of this.
And so that's why in the last 72 hours, we've heard all the, you know, there have been a number of mainstream media stories where it's like, did Donald Trump pick the right guy to be his vice president? And obviously, speaking to Trey, he did further explanation of the childless cat lady's comment.
Like JD Vance strikes me as a guy who wishes he was a stud, but he's not. And again, that doesn't matter, but it matters to people like JD Vance. It matters to people like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm noble because he's just lame. He's lame. He's lame. And you doing all this, and good point, Alonzo. You doing all this shit, and your wife's Indian. Your wife is a dark-skinned Indian woman, and and look at what she's going through. You got the Republicans talking about her background. You got people like Nick Fuentes talking about he has a son named Vivek. What is he really? Look what's I guess I don't know, but he's just like he wishes he was him, but he's not. Like I don't know, man. We got a Colorado Democrat raising a whole lot of money against Lauren Boebert. But yeah, it's just what a strange thing to attack people for. Oh, and what do you say? Anytime you see the crazy people on Twitter, they're always childless. Like, is that the only thing that you have that you feel like makes you better than people? It's just weird. All right, here we go. Colorado Dem rakes in $750,000 since primary win as GOP opponent Lauren Boebert faces fundraising crunch. Let's get her out of here too.
Colorado, then Highland. I was raised in Sterling, Colorado, then Highlands Ranch. My parents taught me the importance of family, community, and serving others, and they were repelled by the cruelty of Lauren Boebert. This November, what if we voted for dignity and hard work instead? For letting people live their lives the way they want, in peace. For stronger communities and opportunities, good jobs, and affordable health care. Join me.
That's another good point, Alonzo, as well. I mean, if they going this hard against Kamala for being Indian, then what does that say about Usha, about JD Vance's wife, who's darker skinned than Kamala? JD Vance's wife is darker skinned than Kamala Harris. All of this is just dumb. It's just an incredibly stupid situation. I guess it's good for us because it's looking better and better for us by the day. Especially in terms of when you look at just the opportunities that we have moving forward to get good progressive politicians into office all across the board. Because a lot of these people who are standing in the way are, they're sunsetting. Their time in public life is coming to an end. So now we have a lot of opportunity to get good people in and to get good things passed. But yeah, she's raised $750,000. And let's say, hold on, as of the end of the month, after expenses, the Boebert campaign recorded nearly $530,000 in cash on hand. Well, hopefully we can get Lauren Boebert out of there because she's a bit much. She's definitely a bit much. But yeah, the more you think about JD Vance's stance on people without kids, the more it's just like, dude, what's really going on here? Like, why are you so obsessed with this shit? It's just strange. Like, shut up and have kids. Like, it's okay, man. Conservative on CNN profanely slams Trump's race remarks on Harris. Okay, what's he gonna say?
So, what does it mean to turn black? I mean, first of all, it almost sounded like he'd been thinking about this for a long time and he'd rehearsed it in his head and then he finally came out with this new line of attack. But why?
I don't know if I agree with that. Look, first of all, I think he deserves some points for showing up at this thing and giving it a go. Where's Kamala Harris
Okay, well,
today? Not there.
no one's gonna give him points for showing up because of how poorly he did. He would only get points for showing up if he did a decent job. Then you could give him points for showing up because then it would be like, oh well, yeah, it really wasn't the best environment for him to be in, but he came and he did his best. But that's not what he did. He came and he shat the bed, so you can't give him credit for this.
There. But that having been said, he did crap the bed today. The only question is whether he's going to roll around in it or get up and change the sheets.
That's a good question. What do you think?
It's too late to change the sheets, and he's not doing it. I mean, after he, as you put it, crap the bed at the conference, Then we looked at the post he made with Kamala and her Indian side of the family. Oh, Ghost Dog, you said it looked just like. Well, check this out. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a whole bunch of drinks over my right shoulder right there. You can probably see him back there. You know what I mean? I don't know if you got that thing going on in your house, but perhaps you do. But yeah, I'm in St. Louis. I moved out of my apartment in New Jersey. I'll be here till January-ish or so. Then I'm going back up that way. But yeah, we got the drink sitting right back there. Um, but yeah, this is one of the absolute worst collapses that I've ever seen in my life with any kind of a campaign, whether it be political, business, anything. Like the implosion of and one of the things that I remember I was talking about that kind of got stretched out until now because he was going against Joe Biden. Um, I remember one of the points I've always made is Donald Trump is going to run a horrible campaign. His campaign is going to be bad. He's not going to have anybody of quality working on it. And now that Biden's gone, we're seeing how true that actually was. His campaign is horrible. They're not prepared for anything. They have no plan. They're not able to adjust. They're not able to pivot. They have nothing. And now that's painfully obvious. They had nothing with Joe Biden, but the difference is they didn't need anything against Joe Biden. They didn't really need. What did they really need to do other than look a little bit better than Biden? All they had to do was be a little bit more lively, a little bit more awake, and they could attack him for being old and sunsetting. But now that Biden's gone, it's so clear. Like, yeah. Donald Trump isn't. Nobody of quality wants to be a part of that shit. Um, but yeah, this is amazing. That's why I titled it. That's why I titled this stream is Donald Trump trying to lose, because the way that this shit's going, it's like maybe you are trying to lose. I don't know. But thank y'all for joining me today. Quick little stream on Thursday. We just went over the disastrous conference Q&A session that Trump did. We definitely gonna be back tomorrow. I'm gonna be streaming a lot more than I have been over the next couple weeks. I'm gonna get some type of a nice setup. I'm gonna get like a desk. There's rooms over here. I'm gonna set up like an office and stuff like that. But thank y'all for joining me today. And I love and appreciate y'all, and I will see you tomorrow.